Last show of the night, breaking it down, explaining it right. Robin's on the pad, yeah, he's riding the blueprint. 1-1 wears a bag, steel stare, eyes grinning tint. NYPD shadows, deep state of mind. JJ at the table letting gears grind. Crimes after dark. This town don't sleep. Every saint, every shark got a secret to keep. Crimes after dark, where the tough hearts bleed. We don't run from the mark, we just do what we need. Logan's BRONX tales, she's spinning them raw. For me and you, kid, every scar, every flaw. Dago's in the cafe, serving justice up clean. Black coffee, cold eyes, coming strong and mean. Lee at the head like a storm rolling in. Says you stand or you fall, but you don't have a bend. Crimes after dark. This town don't sleep. Every saint, every shark got a secret to keep. Crimes after dark, where the tough hearts bleed. We don't run from the mark, we just do what we need. Low and close, last show of the night. Curtains closing slow. You ride with the crew, or you stand with the foe. Crimes after dark. This town don't sleep. Every saint, every shark got a secret to keep. Crimes after dark, where the tough hearts bleed. We don't run from the mark, we just do what we need. Crimes after dark. Crimes after dark.
The devil's advocates whisper in the hall, where justice wears a mask and truth begins to fall. Every thread they pull, every lie they weave, in the courtroom's dance, who's left to believe? Oh, the devil's in the details, hiding in plain sight, innocent until the gavel steals the light. True crime echoes through the hollow night, fighting injustice with no end. The devil's in the details, hiding in plain sight, innocent until the gavel steals the light. True crime echoes through the hollow night, fighting injustice with no end in sight. A photograph fades where the truth once stood. Blurred lines between the bad and the good. The scales they tilt with every silver tongue, while the broken cry for a song unsung. Black robes
All right, everybody, welcome to another Crimes After Dark. I hope that you were here for the beginning of that show during the pre-roll when you got to hear a brand new song we've never debuted before. Dago put that together with a little combination of some AI assistance, but it's actual riffs that him and his son put together. Badass shit. Like, we were both jamming backstage to that. I hope you enjoyed that song. Remember, if you make it on time, you never know when you're going to get surprised with a new sizzle reel, a new song. We got a whole bunch of songs stacked up, and they have all pretty much been bangers in some way or another and hit really well. So please show up early and enjoy the song. Let us know that you enjoyed that. And let's get going for another Crimes After Dark show. We've got Dago backstage. We've got JJ State of the Deep. We've got Robin. We are going to get one, but he's going to be very, very late. So Robin is going to probably, take one's place reading the monologue with that. He actually put the work together, but he's not going to make it on time. He will be here a little bit later. Not sure exactly where Logan from Bronx Tales right now is. I saw that she was on, but we haven't heard yet whether she's going to make it or not. So we'll hang tight on Logan's appearance on the show. In the meantime, let's kick this sucker off. We're going to talk a lot about that Charlie Kirk update, the Tyler Robinson thing, and the bullet, whether or not it matches the rifle that Tyler Robinson allegedly fired and killed Charlie Kirk. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about other cases that we've got going. Let's hit her hard, pitter patter. Let's get at her. Dago, what's going on, sir?
Whoa.
That was a badass song, sir.
I like it. I like it. Thank you. Thank you. I do. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And so you have it. That's why
I hope JJ got to hear it. Sometimes he wasn't on stage when we were playing it, but a lot of times he listens on the way. So hopefully he got to hear that song and got to appreciate it because that was worthy.
I hope you guys liked it. Yeah, I got a few I've been messing with, and my son and me either late at night or early in the morning have been like bored or whatever, and he's like, "What do you think of this and that?" And a couple guitar riffs, so on and so forth. So
that's so awesome. That's so awesome.
Yeah, it allows you to do that and put those in, and then now the rest of it was AI created, except for the lyrics, of course. But it turned out really well. I just put together the format for it and mixed some interesting things with that one, and it turned out pretty great. So
yeah, and we've got a list now of songs that we're ready to debut. Cat Farm's given us a bunch of songs. You've given us more songs. So we've got a plethora of songs to share. And I think we're going to throw together a Spotify list for people to listen to our songs if we can do that. I don't know. Is there any copyright things with AI created music where we need to worry about that?
I mean, unless I were to hit you for it, which I won't.
Right, so. I was going to say, it really, maybe you and I need to talk backstage on whether or not you're okay with your songs being on a Spotify
Yes, I'm
list.
fine.
Well, all right. What did you do a live today, by the way? Did you have a live?
I did.
How was it?
Covered part 2 of the Nancy Guthrie stuff, the insanity in that bullshit case, and then a little bit on the Charlie Kirk thing to cover that as well. So that's about it.
I'm looking forward to talking about all of that and the Charlie Kirk thing. I did a little video on that this morning. If you haven't caught it, I do ask that you take a look. It's only like 15 minutes long. It's not a terribly long one. We're trying to let YouTube know that we cover more than Idaho 4. So that would be helpful if you actually just took a minute to go out there and watch the video. And by the way, not just a minute, watch like at least 7-8 minutes of a 15-minute video, or it really kind of hurts us. But that would do us a favor. That would do us a solid. If you want to help support the show, help watch those videos and interact with them even better. Leave a comment, leave a like, say what you liked or didn't like. Even if it's complaining, say, hey, I liked this, but it wasn't whatever. Just tell us. That is important to the show. From what I understand, anything created in AI can't be copyrighted. But I could be wrong. Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, again, Dago put the lick together with his son, so that is his, right? So
yeah, but it doesn't. It's just that, and then it's been looped and all that. So it actually, when you put that in there, once anything that you put in there, I think it becomes theirs. That's my thing.
Yeah.
And unless the person that creates it on there says something about it, I don't think there's an issue with it. So, from what I understand.
I love what you guys are doing. And again, I want to reiterate, when we say it's assisted with AI, don't get it twisted. These people do the lyrics. They have to tweak it. They have to give it prompts. They have to tell it what sound they're looking for. It is a mixture of human and AI intelligence. So it's
Yes.
not just AI. It has a human element. So
Yeah, if somebody said Suno does a good job. Yes, they do. They do.
Yes.
So yeah, Suno does the work for those of you that are saying that or whatever. But I did write the lyrics. We did add our own guitar riff to it and created the format for it to create what it did. So
Margaret became a new member, it looks like, of our channel. So thank you so much for becoming a member of the Devil's Advocate show. Hopefully you'll enjoy. We got lots and lots of content available from time to time. We'll also throw some gift memberships out there for people to get a chance, but it's not super expensive. Thank you for joining the show. Kimberly wants me to check my email. I might be able to pull that off during the show, but it might have to be after the show. We'll see. I did get a lot of emails that I checked before the show, and yours actually might be one of them. So I think I check your email. Make sure I didn't respond to 3 of your emails already, because if it's the person I think it is, I may have already responded to you. All right, let's get the rest of our panel up on stage before we go too far. Amanda says, by the way, hold tight, JJ. AI-generated music cannot be copyrighted in the United States if it is entirely created artificial intelligence, as copyright law requires human authorship. Well, again, there is a human element in that. All right, so we'll get in it. Hey, JJ, what is going on? Did you hear the banger song on the way in?
No, when I got home, I got home in time, but as I was leaving my garage, it started pouring rain, so my phone was tucked away in my jacket. We need the rain here because it's been the driest. I think I've mentioned it before, the driest winter in 47 years, which is not good because fire danger.
Right.
So
we
it's
got
good.
tornado warnings.
We're supposed to get a
crazy.
little bit of rain.
Yeah.
How's everybody doing? How you guys doing?
Man, I'm
Good, JJ. Good to see you.
randy with excitement. I'm Randy.
What's up, denizens? What's up, meatballs? What's up, mods?
I want to talk. I can't wait to talk to you tonight. I don't know if you saw my video, but that Charlie Kirk drop.
I saw the video.
ATF. Yeah, we need to talk about that on show tonight. I'm sure we're going to have a conversation about that. That should be lively and entertaining, especially when we get into kind of that deep state area about whether or not it was an assassination or whatever. We'll talk a little bit about that as well. This is a great night for that. So good to see you, JJ. You got anything else you want to share with us before we bring Robin up on stage?
No, just another day. Just a regular old day. Just was running a little behind, but I ended up getting out of there quicker than I thought I would.
Right. Yeah. I have to say to all of our panelists, I really appreciate the effort that all of you make to get in here. I know some of you actually rush from one thing to another to make it to the show. And I want to say I really appreciate you guys making an effort, even if it's coming in a little bit late. It's better late than never as far as I'm concerned. So thank you very much for that and your dedication to the Crimes After Dark show. Robin, how are you doing?
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Mom.
I'm doing well. Hello. Hello.
Hello. Why do we
Hello,
go
hello.
all British when you come on?
It's left over from the Princess Diana case.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that might be it.
Yeah. Well,
We'll go with that.
you.
We'll go with that.
I think you've been running a little hectic today, right? We haven't had a lot of communication today. I think you said you were running some errands, and I was
No,
running some errands.
we had an appointment, and then we had errands, and we're trying to do batch running around because of the freaking price of gas. Oh my God.
It's funny.
It's
you
like
mentioned
over $1. I was
How
like,
much is it?
$3.99, isn't it? You said.
$3.99 here in
Oh,
PA.
yeah.
But
I
it's
was gonna
funny
say-
you
Yeah.
complain about that. I remember gas prices in the 5s and 6s at some point during times of my life. So
Yeah.
Yeah, well, when you go from $2.69 a gallon to $3.99, that's a little bit of a crunch. So yeah, but
I know you're gonna. I know
but
you're
other
gonna
than
read.
that, doing well.
Yeah, I know you're gonna try to fill in for one tonight and give us a cold read.
Well,
Yeah. Are you ready for that? By the way,
yep.
wanna
There
do
is
something.
no imitating him, but I will
Yeah.
try to do him proud.
I wanted to tell you something you don't know yet. As a co-producer of the show, you should probably know these things. So today, I was dropping off a check in the mail to pay for Whitman County Sheriff's Office second package that they put together for me on the Kopaka shooting incident. But when I went to my post office box, I had a big old fat envelope stuffed into my little tiny P.O. box. And it was from Letcher County, Kentucky. They gave me a stack of papers about 1.5 inches thick because they don't do things electronically. And I was looking into a suspicious murder that the girls had brought me into in Letcher County. And so I did a public records request, and I forgot. I paid for it a while ago because they asked for some photocopy fees. And when I went down there, I had this big old fat. So I've been reading through it. It's pretty fascinating stuff. We'll talk about that maybe later in the show, but I just want to let you know, like I'm still getting public record stuff in the mail. But.
Oh, I'm excited. I can't wait to learn what that's all about.
All right. Well, how about you give us your best impression of 1-1 and do us a monologue?
Okay.
Do you want full screen or you want to stay here in the corner? Because I usually
4 hours later.
4
You can, yeah, 4 hours.
He's not
You
quite
can
a
keep
4-hour
me on the corner.
monologue.
That's fine.
All right.
Okay. So, Jackson, Juliana, you are the apples of your daddy's eye. And Mrs. 1-1, he absolutely adores you. And I hope you all have a wonderful evening.
Good evening.
Awesome.
Tonight, we're not walking into a clear story. We're walking into something unfinished, something unsettled. Because in the killing of Charlie Kirk, what once looked like a straight line is starting to bend. A suspect, a weapon, a narrative that felt almost complete. But now there's a pause, a delay requested, a courtroom waiting, and buried inside the evidence, a problem. The bullet doesn't clearly match the rifle. In a case where the state is preparing to take a life, the one piece of evidence that should speak the loudest whispers nothing at all. So the defense asks for time, more time to sift through thousands of pages, hours of footage, layers of DNA, multiple contributors, uncertain conclusions. Because when the science hesitates, everything else should too. And that's where the questions begin. Is this just a delay, a strategy, or is this the moment the case starts to crack? Because if the bullet can't tell the story, then who is? On Devil's Advocates, we don't follow the version that feels comfortable. We follow the fractures. We sit in the silence between what's claimed and what can actually be proven. And tonight, we're pulling this case apart, piece by piece, until whatever truth is left has no place left to hide. And with that, this is Devil's Advocate.
All right. Thank you so much. You don't get to do the live from New York part, though.
No, I can't do the live from New York. I can say live from PA, but it's not the same.
Well, it's close. It's kind of in the neighborhood, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm the East Coast. So let's start off talking a little bit about that, the drop that happened. And I'm kind of angry, guys. I'll tell you why I'm angry, because TMZ reported on this, NBC News reported on this, The Independent reported on this. And so I wanted to, rather than take their opinion about what just happened, I wanted to see the legal document myself, because they said a new document has come out that says the ATF cannot conclusively tie the bullet from the autopsy report of Charlie Kirk to the rifle that was fired allegedly by Tyler Robinson. So I thought, let me go straight to it. Here's the problem. They hadn't released it to the public, but news agencies who are big and have money, they either work angles and get friends on the inside, or they pay extra money to get the privilege of getting pre-release stuff. So I'm kind of irritated that I found one of these moments again when, in a world where being the first to come out with news is important, people pay for the right or work relationships to be the first person to report it a day or hours before anybody else, so that by the time you get to talking about it, that's so old news. That's so yesterday's news. So anyways, here we are talking about yesterday's news. What do you guys think about it? Like, I don't want to oversell what was said, the wording, but what do you guys think about the idea that they can't conclusively connect the bullet to the rifle that was fired by Tyler Robinson, allegedly?
What do we think?
Yeah. Do you think it's a aha, I told you so, or is it something else?
I think that it proves the point that when I covered it, that I said that there's no way in God's green earth that a 30-06 round shot Charlie Kirk and only made that little hole. Okay, so there's that. So, I'd like to know what they did pull out of his body. I'd like to see documentation on this. Is what I'd like to see. I'd like to know what testing they did. I'd like to see the documents, the testing results, all of it. I want to see it all. I said that on my show today earlier too, because I think this just points to, as I said today too, why is nothing ever not fucking black and white anymore? Nothing that happened. This is like JFK 2.0. Okay.
I know that's what I kind of titled this slide for tonight, the magic bullet, because this kind of reminds me of the Lee Harvey Oswald. How does a bullet do that? How does a 30-06 not blow that guy's head off? Like how does this bullet get lodged in his neck, because his neck was so steel by God made his vertebrae hard enough to make that bullet not penetrate. Come on, what is with this bullet? It's like Lee Harvey Oswald.
No sense at all.
No.
Exactly.
And I think it's a huge problem.
It's narrative shifting, in my opinion. Yes. So that whole thing about the wording of we cannot conclusively match the bullet is the same thing as saying the bullet, we can't match the bullet to the gun.
Right.
But we can't conclusively, so they have to leave a little room for doubt. Well, maybe it still did come from that gun, but here's where the narrative shifting comes in. That implies that it was still that it leaves the room for doubt whether or not that was the rifle that was used, right? They didn't say that, well, we can't prove that rifle was used. So they shift it, right? So they can still say, by just those few words adding conclusively, we cannot conclusively say, they can still keep the narrative open that it was that gun that was used still. They just weren't able to conclusively match it. But regarding that rifle, in my opinion, the most obvious and most significant piece of evidence is that the dogs that were near that rifle, these are like high levels, like bomb sniffing dogs that would detect gunpowder, did not get alerted when they were in that area where the gun was later found, right? Which, based on what the timeline that they told us, that gun would have been there at the time the dogs were there. So in my opinion, that would negate the fact of that gun being used anytime recently. So I believe it's all narrative shifting.
I've got a million things flooding my head. Somebody had pinned up a question to you specifically, so I wanted to make sure you didn't miss it. Somebody was asking you specifically what your thought was on how long the residue can stay on you after shooting a gun. I've got thoughts about it, but since it was directed to you, why don't you take a shot at it?
I mean, I'm not an expert on ballistics, but I know that unless, like, when you go to the gun range, they have lead removal soap in the bathrooms at the gun range, de-leading soap. So to me, that suggests that unless you wash it off with a special kind of soap, it's probably going to still be on your clothes and on your body, because it's a pretty pungent substance. It's a pretty powerful substance fired, once gunpowder is fired. So I would imagine at the very least a few days.
Yeah, and I was going to say something similar. It really depends on the cleanup. Did you clean up? Did you wash your hands? What did you wash your hands with? Because gunpowder residue could, especially if you didn't shower, you didn't wash, you could be on there for fucking a week if you didn't take a shower. So it really kind of depends on the cleanup efforts and when you took a shower. But.
Yes.
And yes, Wade Bird, we can talk about the direction that it looks like the bullet came from, and the angle alone could not possibly have come from the angle it was on the roof. Yeah, and that's one of the things, we've talked about this in the early stages. We were all over what angle that bullet came from, and whether it came from the front, whether it came from the back, whether it came from the side, whether it came from up high in the side, or whether it came from down low in the audience in the side. We've analyzed that MFer 16 ways from Sunday, and so has half a dozen military snipers who have come on YouTube channels to say, I can tell you definitively that wasn't a 30-06 and blah blah blah. So but then you'll have another expert come out and say, yeah, that totally could have been a 30-06. So it's been talked about forever, but
I broke it down too. Eddie came on the channel with me. He had the gun. He showed about tearing it apart. He has one. Showed us how he tore it down, put it back together, how easy and not easy it is without experience in it. So on and so forth, and the fact that he jumps down, tears it apart, jumps down, puts it back together, wraps it in a towel, and runs off with it makes no sense. But my biggest issue with this entire thing has always been, because I do have guns, I do shoot guns, I've known guns my whole life. That bullet that they claimed was used would have destroyed Charlie Kirk. His body would have been destroyed. I don't care what anybody says. It would have shattered his spine, in my opinion, rather than sticking in it. Okay. Granted, the distance does play effect. It does, but not enough to make that happen. There was a tiny little hole that was left. That was it, folks. Okay. Tiny little hole.
And I feel, I mentioned it in my video that I put out today. I feel like, just like you said, the way the gun was left behind felt off. It felt like someone planted the rifle to say, look, everybody, here's the rifle that did the shooting. Being wrapped in a towel and left where it was. I was like, somebody left that gun to be discovered as the weapon when it wasn't the weapon. That was one of my first thoughts too, because I was just like, something was odd about the whole scenario.
And the screwdriver that was left on the roof conveniently that has DNA on. Come on, you guys, come on.
And
Robin,
you say that he stuffed the gun down his pants, or part of it down his pants.
Yeah.
Well, there'd be a heck of a lot of DNA of a particular kind that could potentially, things are sweaty and dark down there. So there'd be a lot of DNA on that thing.
Well, the thing about the whole scenario that, and I followed this pretty closely from day one, is that as every single piece of footage came out and every bit of analysis came out, the things that kept ruminating in my head were what we saw in the crowd around Charlie right before and right after looked like a distraction operation, right? And if the more points of distraction you can have, and I'm not even going to, this is not even getting into all the digging like Candace and other people and Baron Coleman have done since then. But, the thing is, this is a good example because we hear Occam's razor all the time, right? People like to throw Occam's razor around. Well, Occam's razor is the most obvious would be Charlie was creating problems for things that involved many, many, many billions of dollars. And what was one of the biggest points of contention between Charlie and Trump? It was going to war with Iran. Yeah. Right. He specifically went to the White House and spoke to Trump, telling him he thought it would be a big mistake if we went to war with Iran.
Right.
Now, the military industrial complex, the banking industry, the TPUSA, a lot of the shady things that have come out since, which we can talk about that later if you guys want. That the Occam's razor in this case was Charlie had a wide reach and he could have created a lot of opposition
Sure.
to the military-industrial complex for going to war with Iran. Now, there's the other things too. There's the Epstein files. There's the Israel cause. There's all these other aspects, but all three of those things are connected. They
Right.
all tie
And
in.
when you're talking, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's it.
I was just going to say with the military industrial complex, I just saw an article today in Newsday about places in New York that are ramping up for production of military equipment and shit. So right there you are. I mean, that's just one little part of it.
Yeah, there's an old mill here that they were talking about on some of our local stuff that I saw, that they were talking. It's an old steel mill that was shut down, that they were talking about opening it back up to make some kind of shells or mortars, or I don't even know what they even use nowadays, but it had something to do with weaponry or something like that. So
Yeah.
I mean,
I want to
Yeah.
bring up. I want to. There's a Mal. The chat's really bringing my mind. Like I didn't realize people are still interested in this case. FOIA and Find Out's comment. Look, if someone wanted to pin the shooting on Tyler Robinson, just as they said, well, I don't know if this is where they were going, but somebody could have taken Tyler Robinson's rifle that did belong to him. It was his grandfather's rifle that he got. Could have taken it. Unbeknownst to him, and left it at the scene, and it would have his
Sure.
DNA all over it, because if it was his gun, his DNA would be all over it. So all you need to do,
yeah.
maybe just wrap it in a towel so you don't put your own fingerprints on it.
Yeah.
And then you leave it in the towel that was, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
somebody could
I
have taken
mean-
that gun from him and then left it at the crime scene, knowing his DNA would be all over it.
the only thing you have to call into question with that, though, are the text messages between him and
Yes.
his partner, blah blah blah. But there is another piece of info that dropped right along with this that I found out, that the
DNA?
sheriff that talked him into turning himself in, per se, resigned yesterday as well. So
Well, there you go. And I want all of your
I'm-
opinions on this. To this day, the story is that a friend of the family's, the sheriff, whatever, talked him into turning himself in. There ever been released the video footage of him coming with his family to the police station to turn himself in? Have you seen it? Because I haven't.
I don't think I have. No,
I haven't.
I've never seen it, and I don't know a single police station that doesn't have cameras in their lobby, doesn't have cameras. So you're telling me the biggest manhunt in the country for the guy who shot Charlie Kirk, it was a huge thing. It's the equivalent of a political assassination. The guy's able to walk in with his family to the police station, and nobody's got to recorded that at all anywhere. Like, what's that about? Like, unless
I mean, I would be something
JJ
you
knows
would
more than
think.
me. You've been following JJ. Is the video footage out of him turning him in?
I haven't seen any footage of him being turned in. Candace was on that, or it was something to the effect like, "Oh, well, we have it, we haven't shown it," or something along those lines,
Right.
obscuring
Trust
it.
me,
Now,
bro.
guys, how many times has the government investigated itself and found itself guilty?
Did you know, as an aside, I just want to say this because JJ, you and I met at CrimeCon, and you and I drove. This is an aside, but I hope you'll follow the logic. You and I met at CrimeCon, and we took a drive over to Aurora, Colorado, the theater, Century 16, where James Egan Holm allegedly, shot up the theater, and of course he was convicted of it and whatever. Did you know that the families sued the theater because their security cameras were all malfunctioning and didn't get any video footage from the back or even in the lobby when he went in to parked his car back there and went into the lobby? They sued because they said, "Hey, look, all of our cameras were malfunctioning. We really didn't have it." I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, you literally are. How can you guys not get shit on camera when everything in our country has cameras on every fucking corner? And then when they even have cameras looking right at, they go, "Oh, you know what? Camera wasn't functioning properly at that point."
Well, the thing
Which
is
one?
that this is the thing that I have to keep saying this because it keeps coming up. Operations, think about it. When a country decides they're going to go to war or carry out any military operation, even if it's not an official war, they have people like actuaries. They estimate what the collateral damage will be, what is the potential blowback, how many people will we likely lose, and what will be the consequences to us, what will be the consequences across the board, internationally, etc. So they know this in advance. Does that stop them from doing military actions? They know civilians will die, right? They
Yeah.
know there's going to be collateral damage. They do it because it serves a bigger agenda. Human lives to the matrix, to the power structure, they're not people. Like, we're people.
Yeah.
Normal people wouldn't kill people
No.
because it served a larger agenda. But
Right.
big business does, and
Right.
governments
Mhm.
do. And
And the
so,
sociopaths who work for them do.
right.
Right.
And so,
Yeah.
if you look at different scenarios, it's hard for your average person to conceive that the government would murder people, let's be blunt, to forward innocent people, to forward agendas. But if you connect the dots, there's nothing at all surprising about that. So I posted at the end of your stream last night, I have a poll question. Would the government murder people or carry out a staged event in order to forward a larger agenda? I would like to know what
Let's do
people
it.
in the chat think,
Let's do
because
it.
I
Let's do it.
think we're looking at how many different cases have we looked at that have bigger agendas attached to them.
Right.
And so that
Um,
is why I always talk about this stuff. It's not because every single case, like Dago always says, why can't we just get a black and white case, right? If it's a black and white
There-
case, you're not going to hear me saying
Right.
it was this, it was an operation. But it's all these high profile cases with all these other things attached to them.
yeah.
Are you doing a poll?
Yeah, I'm gonna do a poll. I'm gonna say, do you believe the government would murder someone to further an agenda, a political agenda? Yeah, that fits. Do you believe
Or
the
like,
government
it doesn't
would
even have to be political. It could be financial. I mean,
whatever.
all of these
I
things.
still have enough space to add that, or financial.
Yeah, because
Okay, so I got, do you believe the government would murder someone to further a political or financial agenda? Yes, no. And is there any other option? And then yes or no?
I don't
Unsure.
know.
I'll just leave unsure. All right. Do you got it, or you need some time?
I'm good.
Let's fire it off right now.
The polls begin.
Early voting is looking strong.
yeah, and as that's going,
Yeah.
with this case, with the Charlie Kirk case,
Yeah.
there's more evidence that points to an operation than there is that it was the lone gunman, right? So
Right.
it's just like the and just I see the chat, I see some of the comments people are making about a certain foreign government, etc. There's nothing happens on American soil by another intelligence agency or an operations without the CIA knowing about it. So
Right.
to me, if in fact there was another foreign entity involved, our government was involved, and it benefited more than one country, right?
Yeah.
Because of the war, because of the reach that Charlie had, who he was speaking out against, the pressure from his donors, all that stuff. And Candace Owens has blown open some really important aspects.
Real quick, let's give a shout out to the Lenny Mo 499. Thank you so much for supporting the show. And yeah, we will talk about some of those alternative shooters that showed up on tape. So thank you for bringing that up. I plan on discussing that as we get into it. Go ahead, JJ. Sorry to interrupt you, but
no, I was just saying, I mean, essentially there were, this is back to Occam's razor. There were at least 3 reasons why it would have been, as you say, political. To me, political, financial, they're all one and the same.
yeah, sure.
There's at least 3 major ones that, and probably a 4th one, if you want to count TPUSA, that would give you an Occam's razor scenario. That would be the most obvious
Well, I think
reason
one of the
to.
biggest ones is what's going on right now between Israel and Iran and all. I mean, Jesus, that
Yeah.
was something that's well known that he was highly against. This happens, and then
Mhm.
boom, we're in World
Yeah.
War
Yeah.
III. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
would Trump have had the support that he has, which one can argue he doesn't have a lot of support, but would he have even had the support that he had if Charlie Kirk was alive, bitching on TV about going to war with
Right.
Iran?
Exactly.
Let's end this poll real quick, and let's talk about the results of that poll. I found it pretty interesting that a whopping, what was it, 98% on our side came in as, the government will murder somebody to further a political and financial agenda.
I got.
And you?
Do you
You
believe the
guys are
government?
speaking my language, man. I like this chat.
Do you believe the government would murder someone to further a political agenda or something alike? And I have 86% said yes, 10% unsure, and 4 said no. So I think we know our government at this point.
Yeah,
Honestly,
and this harkens back to a phrase that many people have heard: "Love your country, fear your government." The government
Yeah.
becomes its own entity. You can love your country and still, because at one hand you're like, well, shit. If 85 to 90% of our audience believes that the government is willing to kill people to further an agenda, who wants to live in a country like that? But you can love your country and fear your government. So I guess there's that as well. But yeah.
You can love what your country is supposed to stand for. And that's not what we're seeing, right? We're not seeing what
that's what I think the big problem is now, Joe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I think is that we've been seeing an escalating erosion of what our country is supposed to be based on. And it is
Right.
and is become, and about, I don't know, years ago, at this point, it's probably like 6 years ago, maybe 7 years ago. One of my close friends is from Chile, right? He's been here for a long time, but he still has family in Chile, and so he would be following what's going on in Chile and stuff like that. And there was like a big civil unrest event that happened in Chile back, whatever it was, 6 or 7 years ago. And he was talking about it. And everything he was explaining to me sounded like orchestrated chaos. Like the powers that be were creating chaos in Chile. And at that time, I don't know why, something clicked in my head and I said, it's going to come here. And this is before COVID. I said, it's going to come here, because I had been seeing other things happening around the world. And it just made me sense that they're deliberately creating chaos in all these places, because that was when Sweden was having all the issues with immigration and crimes related to immigrants and so on and so forth. So you look at everything that's happened in the last, let's just say 6 years. It's more than that, but let's just say 6 years. The rapid escalation of decline. I know that sounds like an paradoxical statement, but it's been so crazy. And I'll say this and then I'll shut up, but I really believe this, that the powers that be have started to notice that people online were starting to wake up to the charade.
Yeah.
The great awakening, so to speak, was happening. And they knew they needed to escalate. They needed to rapidly speed up the pace towards their agendas that have all been laid out openly. I mean, they've openly stated what their larger goals are, the oligarchs and the globalist cabal, if you will. So I think that they saw that people were waking up and they said, you know what? We got to clamp down, and we have to do it before a critical mass of people start to wake up. And in my opinion, all these operations that we're seeing are just a byproduct of that.
Somebody had asked earlier, it was a pinned comment a long time ago that I didn't respond to at the time because we were all talking, which was something to the effect of, why does the government keep acting like we're all stupid and put these narratives out there like we're stupid? And I would say this. And my first response was, because Americans are stupid. That was my first response. But I don't think that's actually it. I think Americans are apathetic. I think a lot of Americans really, when they think about it, they know damn well what's happening, but they're apathetic. It's kind of like, what am I going to do about it? I'm one guy. So even if there's some bullshittery and I'm like, you know what, I don't really kind of believe it happened that way, but you know what, my sports game's on in a half hour. I'm going to go watch that because it's just not something you want to spend a lot of time in. So I don't know that it's that we're stupid, although a fair number of people just follow, again, the easy answer because they don't want to put a lot of thought into it. But
and the other thing though is that people are just ground down. They're tired. I mean, people are struggling just to survive and put food on the table and keep the lights on. And they, at the end of the day, some people just don't have the mental bandwidth to care beyond their immediate circumstances. They know on some level what's really going on, but there are some people who are doing all they can, to just get by every day. And that's part of what they count on. And I'm not trying to get political or whatever, but it's the truth. That's what they're counting on, is for that apathy, because they're just wearing people down. But that's where I'm telling you, people, 4%, because the only thing these people understand in any circumstance is money. And when you start withholding your dollars, that's when they listen.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get super political.
Dude, it's not political unless you pick a side.
Here's the thing. What I'm going to say is, a friend of mine, when I was going to college, told me something to the effect, when we were talking about World War II and we were having a discussion. And he said, one thing, the average person sitting at home around the dinner table didn't give a shit what Hitler was doing. And they would rather live in Nazi Germany during its height than in Roman decline, where everything was horrible or whatever. And so I was like, that's a good point. The average citizen doesn't really care about the wars that are going on all over the world or whatever. As long as you're not affecting them at the dinner table, they could give shits about who's all dying anywhere and what's happening and who's trying to take over the world. They're like, whatever, go take over the world. I don't give a shit. As long as I can watch my television show at 6 o'clock and sit around the table with my kids. Most people just want to enjoy their life. They don't want to get into the political side of it. And so they kind of, again, turn an apathetic eye to the bigger picture and lives that might be lost. And then you ask people, well, do you think that thousands of people, innocent people, were killed so we can start a war? And that bothers them. So then they go back to, you know what? I just want to fucking go watch my TV show and eat my dinner. I don't want to think about whether or not we killed thousands of people to start a war. So,
yeah, well, I'm not a religious guy. I grew up in a religious family, but I'm not practicing. I don't practice organized religion. And for years I would see, and you guys have probably all seen this, and everybody in the chat's probably seen this. I'd see posts online saying this is a spiritual war.
Yeah.
And I would always kind of like poo-poo that idea. And I would say, no, I'd intellectualize it and say, no, this is a bunch of oligarchs that want to control every aspect of the world, literally every aspect. But the more that I have paid attention and a lot of research over a lot of years, I look at spirituality like quantum physics. I believe the whole universe is a big energy field, which it is by every scientific account, and that we either tap into it on a higher level or a lower level, or we don't. Some people don't tap into it at all. And that universe, that energy, I also believe in the collective unconscious. If anybody who studied Carl Jung has read about the collective unconscious, right? And so I think in some ways it is a spiritual war, because what happens when people are at each other's throats? They're struggling to get by because prices have systematically been driven up. There's constant chaos. Every time you turn around, the politicians do the opposite of what they say they're going to do. We all know.
Yeah.
It goes on and on and on and on. We could go spend 15 hours talking about it.
Yeah.
In my opinion,
go ahead.
The spiritual war aspect is you have to not let all this fuckery impede your energy. And I'm not a woo-woo guy. Like, I'm not even talking about it on that level. I'm saying, like, literally the energy that we give out, that we take in, if we let these fucks mess with that, which they have been doing very well for a long time, especially the last 6 years. The key is, imagine if everybody woke up and realized it's all a charade, that no
Yeah.
Right.
political party works for anybody. They work for the oligarchs.
Right.
And that we are just people trying to live our lives. And if we could just realize we're never going to all agree on everything.
Right.
You know what would piss off these people the most? Fucking love your life, live a good life, enjoy your life, engage in your hobbies, engage in friendships, engage in music. Why do you think they're pushing AI music? Because it has no soul. You know, that Spotify is posting AI artists as if they're people, right? Music feeds the soul. All music does, even good AI music does. But humans are what create the energy field. So I
Yeah.
just think that spiritual
Yeah.
war thing, there might be something to it.
Real
Yeah.
quick, I wanted to not to leave your thought, but I've been seeing in the chat, and I wanted to get to it before it dies. Some people discovered the cute little emojis. They're like, "Oh my God, is that a little devil emoji you got there?" Yes, if you're a member of this channel, you've got cool little cute little imps and little emojis. So I'm going to go ahead and roll out some 5 free gift memberships so you can play with those
And
emojis for the people that don't have those. And yeah, it's
I
pretty
do
cool.
want to thank SMC Idaho Vandals for becoming a member. They just became a member, so welcome to the fam.
I think they became a member because they wanted the damn emojis. So
Yeah, there you go.
He's like, now they're like, you just gave away a gift for it. It might not have been you. It's all random. I have no. So real quick, looks like Kathan 53 got a membership. Christine Hurd got a membership. A Dreamer's Journey got a membership. Maggie Searchy got a membership. Rhonda Ricks, or Rhonda and Ricks, anyways, and Gulf Coast Bum got memberships. So congratulations to the family. Enjoy your little emojis. I see some people throwing those emojis out there. Pretty cool. We need to gift some more emojis. I haven't done anything with the emojis for a while. We could add up. We got a whole bunch of art. We got so much art. We can throw some more emojis.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Thanks for becoming a members of the family. Appreciate it very much. But yeah, I mean, the Idaho case. I mean, again, it's funny because not the Idaho case, the Charlie Kirk case. I got out of talking about it because we really got into a million different angles that the bullet came from, and all the discussions about whether it could have been a 30-06 or whatever. And again, at the the part that I hesitated about was what really all the ATF said was they couldn't, quote unquote, conclusively tie the bullet back. The FBI is also doing further testing, but it makes you wonder if they're avoiding the bigger discussion that by not, so they might lead you to believe that it doesn't conclusively go back to that particular rifle. What if they're hiding the fact that it doesn't conclusively belong to a 30-06? Like, what if it was a completely different caliber? Would they hide that it was a completely different caliber by just saying, well, we couldn't conclusively tie it to the rifle, without pointing out to you, we can't even, it's not even the right caliber? Like, would they tell you that it wasn't the right caliber, or would they just leave it at that? Well, we couldn't conclusively tie it to that rifle. I'm wondering.
Yeah, good question.
UK Claire, thanks for becoming a member as well.
Well, it's a narrative shift, because what happens if they say, oh, it may have come from another rifle? It still means it came from a rifle,
right?
And now, quite a while ago, I posted a video on my Substack that I thought people were thinking too traditionally, that it was more of a high-tech weapon that was used. And that the sound that we heard of a gunshot was just a distraction.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, now all these experts, firearms experts, and the people that are digging into it, like Baron Coleman and others, started going with some alternative theories that it was like an exploding microphone, or it was something else along those lines, like the exploding pager type of scenario, or similar. Now, by them, they can turn around and say this, oh, it wasn't a 30-06, but it was another type of firearm. Well, that still keeps the narrative along the mainstream narrative, the official narrative, that it was a regular weapon was shot from somewhere. And they do this a lot with things. I have a whole segment planned for this. It's all written up, and I made a graph about it. It's narrative shifting. You create an official story and then a counter official story, like Epstein killed himself versus Epstein was
Right.
murdered.
Well,
Right.
and you bring up a point. Like we talk all the time. Like I don't want to get crazy, but again, we talk all the time about the military having technology that we don't have or advanced or whatever. Like what do they call those subsonic bullets that are like really hard to like hear kind of thing. You have to wonder, like, could a round that was either very, very hard to hear, like, and just like you kind of said, if you just made a crack and a sound, the sound of a crack of a rifle, and it never really fired anything, it was just a sound, everybody would assume that's where the shot came from. Everybody would go look for the rifle you planted there. And that could have been a completely different mechanism around that took him out from somewhere else, but they wanted you looking the wrong way. So they made a loud crack. The entire audience heard the crack. Everybody says it came from that direction. The shot could have come from somewhere completely different. And that crack was just a decoy to get everybody to go find the weapon that was planted, saying, oops, this is the weapon. And it came from somewhere completely different.
Well, and two, they didn't even have to fire another weapon. Who's to say that this is crazy? It could have just been a sound effect.
Yeah.
Right.
And anybody can go you can find it on my X account and my Substack. In my video, I said I thought it could have been like some remote controlled weapon that was planted there before the event.
Right.
That wouldn't be within a visible range of the crowd or cameras, or a military level drone, right? That could have been flown in and flown out or fired from a distance.
And how weird is it? Did you ever make anything with the projector that was taken down immediately from behind him? Like, why take down the projector? Like some people had a theory that the round or whatever it was came from the projector behind him or whatever. Like, there's a million theories. Yeah. The point being is that if you had a way to deliver an explosive or a squib that was on him already or something like that, or even for God's sake, look, how crazy could it be? Could you have gotten something injected in your neck that could be imploded with a remote? That could have been a ticking time bomb just ready to go off anytime they wanted to push a button, and it just explodes something that's embedded under the skin kind of thing to take him out. And then all you have to do again is fake where the crack of the sound comes from so that you get everybody's attention going the wrong direction and misdirect where that came from. But I don't know.
Yeah. There's a lot of different ways they could have done it.
And it's just they rely on the fact that people will tend to think in the way that they've always thought. Oh, there was a shooter. Oh, look at a guy running across the roof. Oh, we found his rifle. I mean, think about it. If you were going to carry out an operation, a high-level operation, you don't need to use a dude like old school. What is this, the 1960s? No, they have technology where they can make pinpoint shots. And another thing that I addressed in my video, it doesn't have to be a bullet that was used.
Right.
There are other technologies, and it's insane what people don't realize. The military has weapons that are 20 to 30 years ahead of what we're aware exists.
Right. Dago, what do you got? You've been quiet for a while. What do you got? Did you check out on me?
Just listening and absorbing.
You said you talked about Charlie Kirk today a little bit. Did you have any different thoughts other than what we've already covered, or you got the same kind of thoughts that we've?
No, I mean, not really. I questioned a lot of things that they've never brought to the table or any attention to. Quite a few things that are issues, I think, in that situation. The guy up on the upper tarmac that was running, as soon as it happened, the guy comes out of nowhere and he bolts. Just he drops down and comes out of nowhere. Nobody says a word about that guy, and he's running all by himself. Who the hell was he? And why did they not stop him or look at? Nobody even looked at him. It just there's too many questions with the whole thing.
Yeah,
too many.
Yeah,
too many. It always has been, and this is one thing. This bullet thing is probably. I'm sure they're going to try to wash this. Okay, absolutely, they're going to try to find a way to wash this, and it'll disappear somehow.
There's one more. There's one more piece of that article that we didn't talk about at all, and that's the DNA. So another piece of evidence that came out was there's question about the DNA on the rifle as well. The question being is that, and maybe it's not a big deal, but they mention it. It's not just Tyler Robinson's DNA on the rifle. So the prosecution tried to say Tyler Robinson's DNA is on the trigger of the rifle, but now it's coming out Tyler Robinson's DNA is not the only DNA on that rifle. What they won't tell you, and they haven't said as far as I know, is where the DNA was. Was it on the trigger as well? Was it somewhere else? But there's apparently now a question about what DNA is on the rifle.
Who's the other DNA belong to?
They haven't said.
Well, it's in my opinion, that's all a distraction.
Yeah,
it's the rifle has nothing to do with it. I mean, it's clearly obvious. If it did, those bomb sniffing dogs would have smelled it immediately. And this is not my opinion. It's a former Green Beret who's been covering this case from day one, Valhalla VFT. And the Green Berets work with bomb sniffing dogs. And he was giving examples of how accurate they are. So look, we could sit and talk all night, because believe me, I could nitpick aspects of the official story. You know, we all could. But it's like, what do we really think happened, guys? Come on. This is the oldest narrative in the book. The weird lone gunman, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what is at the school where Tyler Robinson went? A CIA recruiting hub. The CAI. That's run by who? Former high-level CIA officers. And they took their website down after people started talking about it. You know, they took some stuff off their websites, like some people or whatever. So what do you think? Tyler Robinson's a 4.0 student. He got almost a perfect score on his ACTs. He goes to Utah State for one semester and then disappears, and nobody knows why he dropped out or what he was doing. And all of a sudden he becomes the lone gunman in one of the biggest political assassinations in history.
This sounds almost like the narrative of Luigi Mangione. Yeah, he graduates, jumps off the face of the earth, and then comes back as an assassin and kills somebody.
What is Tyler Robinson's background? Okay, I mean, look at who he is. What does he have to lose by going away forever? What life does he have to lose?
I don't know.
He doesn't have much of a. He didn't have much of a life, really. Okay.
Yeah.
No.
He's nobody of, and I hate saying this because I think everybody's important, but he's nobody of any importance, really and truly. He's just look at him. Look at Brian Koberger.
Yep.
You know, look at Luigi's different in my opinion, but you know these two at the very least. Look at those two. Look at Richard Allen. These people. There's no.
Aside from Richard, let's set Richard Allen aside for a minute. You just listed 3 commonalities. Brian Koberger, PhD candidate, great student, top of his class. Luigi Mangione, great student, multiple degrees, founded the upgrade program at Penn State. You know, and now Tyler Robinson, 4.0 student, great student. Why is it that people with great brains academically would just go nuts and decide to start killing people? Like, it almost doesn't make sense. Like, right?
I mean, in some way it could, because smart people overthink things and they look into things more, and it,
fair.
I can understand that side of it. I've seen that.
Are you playing devil's
before.
advocate with me or what?
No, I'm playing devil's advocate with you. I thought that's where we were at, but no, we can. I think you're fucking crazy, whatever you just said. So whatever.
No, play devil's advocate.
But yeah, I mean, if you think about it, truly and honestly, like, these are smart people, okay? And it doesn't take much to understand that they can overthink or absolutely understand, okay, overly understand a situation and see it for what it is. In turn, these people flip out sometimes, okay? There's people snap, people crack. It is what it is, but it's interesting that it happens so often, is all I'll say.
Well, the intelligence agencies recruit students like that. They always have.
And that's kind of what I'm
Well,
saying,
yeah. And they're just programming society ever since JFK. They just keep programming society to accept
well,
this
there,
same narrative
yeah,
over
and
and
there's
over.
another one. Look at Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yeah.
Okay, it's almost, you can almost calculate what the next, like, what the person's going to be like to some aspect.
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
even know how to explain what I'm trying to say clearly, but it
It's
is
the same
weird.
kind of social profile in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
Well,
in some
Kathan
aspect, yeah.
53 just
Yeah.
said,
MK
"Oh,
Ultra.
yeah, MK
Yeah.
Ultra," and the thing that a lot of people, it's almost counterintuitive. You think these really smart people couldn't get sucked into shit like this, but guys, I mean, this is highly advanced stuff we're talking about. MK Ultra was decades ago, and the advanced technology they have, which I won't get into here, but it's insane the technology they have now.
Yeah.
And so,
Oh yeah, it's been there
I
for a while
don't rule
too.
anything out. Like, I wouldn't put anything past the intelligence agencies. And, I don't have faith in our government. I don't think we're ever going to get the truth in a lot of these cases. I really don't.
Mm-mm.
Now, what
Real.
Candace is doing is she has a platform where she's big enough. I don't want to say she's protected, but someone in her position is not going to just disappear and people are just going to sit back and never talk about it again.
Yeah, I agree with
So
what Lucy said too. Sorry, Joe.
yeah, she's able to dig into things and be more brazen because of the size of her platform.
Yeah. Lucy just said they are working from the same playbook that they used well before JFK. I fully agree with that. If it's
Yeah.
not broke, don't fix it. Okay, and that's
Right.
how I see this. Absolutely, that's how
Yeah.
I see it. So
Because
one
people
million
keep
percent,
falling for it.
and
So
they will continue to.
I
Right.
want to kind of give us some space to talk about some other cases real quick. I wanted to share. I don't know that I don't
Why?
want to encourage people. Why?
Yeah. Why does it have to be?
Why does what have to be? Why do I have to?
I just wanted to see what you'd say.
All right. Well, you stopped me in my track. Like, why? Like, I don't know why. Anyways, what I was going to say was, before we move on to a different topic, I wanted to post a link real quick. I don't want people to leave my show necessarily, but I wanted to post a link to the video that I did today on this. But I also wanted to for people who like JJ's insights into the political thing. We did a show for a while, him and I, called Deep Devils, and we did a show. I'm going to post a link to that as well, on patsies, and we talked a little bit about the kind of idea about how people are picked as patsies and what patsies were, and even the history of where patsies came from. So digging into the archives a little bit, I threw a couple of links up there if you're interested in that kind of stuff. You want to see JJ and I banter back a little bit of that from back in the day too.
We would like more of those episodes, by the way.
I know. I would like to do some as well, but I feel like with State of the Deep about to launch, he's going to be doing that full time, and but we'll figure it out. But yeah, exactly.
Maybe he can work it into his schedule with that as
That's
well.
right. Get it on the schedule.
And with what you just said, something just flipped a switch on my head again. I hate that. About the Patsy thing, it makes you wonder, if you think about it, you guys, how many cases that have been just in general over the years throughout the world that have been used, where a Patsy's been used, that we have no clue about. It just, it's a really deep thought to think about. Okay, they don't even have to be big cases either. Just think about what the case represents, what would be represented from the people involved or the things involved in the case, and if it's possible that it absolutely, there's one, if it absolutely could be possible.
Yeah.
One,
sure.
I looked into the Philadelphia Project. One.
Oh yeah, dude. You and I need to do. Well, I don't even know. Maybe all of us need to do. But he asked about the Philadelphia. I would love to do that. I mean, it's not quite a true crime show, but it definitely seems to be something we can fit in somehow.
It's awesome. I love that stat. The Manhattan Project, the Philadelphia Project, Blue Book, all those things in the background. I love looking into those. I've covered a couple of them.
People like that.
Yeah, we
stuff
talked about that at the
'cause-
beginning, by the way, Tomboy, real quick. We talked about the sheriff resigning. I didn't hear it until I think Dago mentioned it. Dago mentioned it on the show.
Yeah, I brought it up about the sheriff resigning. Tyler's for the Tyler Robinson thing. Yes, I did.
Yeah, and another thing,
Here
because
we go
somebody
again.
made a joke earlier that we went back to the Idaho Ford case in the middle of the
Yeah.
Charlie Kirk thing.
Yeah.
What's another thing those two cases have in common? They destroyed the crime scene.
Right.
Yeah.
That seems
Yeah,
to be
they
the
love to
regular
destroy-
nowadays.
They love to destroy the crime scene. Even one can argue in the Tyler Robinson shooting, they quickly tore up all the grass and cemented over the entire area where his shot to make a memorial out of it. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. There's arguments about where the bullet came from. It may have come down from behind him and lodged in the ground, but you went and tore up the entire ground, maybe collecting that bullet that lodged in the ground, or at least sealing it over with cement so that nobody could fucking go look for it. That's convenient to me. I made a video about that too.
Do you think they would do that ever in a real criminal case like that ever?
No, it's cover up bullshit. Tearing the house
Yeah, and
down.
it was on a
Even-
Sunday, like 3 days after or 2 days after the crime. I mean, come on, man.
It's
Guys,
ridiculous.
I really hope there's not people out there who are believing the official stories on a lot of these things, man. It's like, trust your gut. There is an intelligence out there in the universe. You can tap into it. The feds always lie.
I don't want to get crazy with this, so I'm going to try to be, but I'm just thinking off the top of my head, you know, when the Twin Towers came down, they shipped all of the metal immediately out of the country and shipped it to, they tore it down and they shipped it out of the country.
Right.
When James Holmes shot up the theater, they tore down the theater. And one of the eyewitnesses said, well, I really would have liked to come back and recreate what happened here, but I can't because they tore the theater down. Idaho 4, they tore the house down before the jury would ever got a Why the fuck do they feel the need to tear down the evidence immediately so that nobody can actually start to run questions on the thing after the fact? Tear it down. Get it out of here.
Where in other cases we've seen that they've left crime scenes sit for years, untouched from the moment of the crime, untouched for 10, 15, 25 years. They don't touch it. So explain to me why these ones have to be ripped down and destroyed right away. And the answer always comes back. We don't want it to be there to remind people.
Yes, that's always the thing. Well, you
Yeah.
couldn't handle seeing it all the time, so we're just going to do you a favor and get rid of all the fucking evidence so that you can't, because it could be bad on your psyche for you to have this sitting around. No, it's bad on your criminal investigation for us to start asking questions. And we're like, hey, wait a minute, can we test that? No. For your benefit, we've gotten rid of all the evidence and burned it and stuck it in a landfill in fucking Cuba, and you'll never see it again.
I mean, it's just like, you know what? It's the thing is, like, the people in power. The movie The Matrix was really groundbreaking, for many, many reasons, not just for the visual effects. It was a commentary on our reality, right? It was ahead of its time, that movie. It really was, because I don't think people that would love that movie, I don't think a lot of them really looked at the context of what they were really trying to say. It was just a cool sci-fi movie. But the blue pill, the red pill, do you want to see reality,
How far the
or
rabbit
you
hole
just
goes,
want to stay complacent, right?
It is very interesting,
I
the
know
colors
Dave was
they
a
use.
big movie head, like,
True. Yeah, the blue and the red. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
if you
it's
think about the depth of that.
Yeah.
Sorry, Joe.
I mean, it was a deep movie. And it's like, look at what we're living in now. All these crimes. And to me, there's a big crossover, because the crimes that we talk about largely all seem to have a high level of fuckery in them.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's funny that you brought up that movie, JJ, because I had a very deep conversation with a friend of mine one night about that exact thing. And that's why I mentioned the blue and the red pills. When you see, I can't even remember their damn names, Keanu Reeves wake up inside that thing, whatever that thing was, and crawl out. Okay. The waking up part of it, you know what I'm saying? And coming out of that thing, the whole thing is the basis of reality worked into a sci-fi movie, is 100%
right. And for
what it is.
me, and this is, it's funny because for me, it's you know, like some people in Buddhism call that movie a Dharma movie because it fundamentally explains the nature of reality. Like that movie has got a deeper principle about our entire reality is fake and illusory and it's not true. And do you want to stay in the dream and pretend like life is just a certain way, or do you want to find out how bad it really is? You know? So yeah.
Well,
wild.
To Robin's point earlier, you know, as long as we have like our comforts and, you know, shows to watch and things to do, and if you got kids and you're busy and you're living your life, you work, it's a grind, man. Like I've got a good job, I got a lot going on, but I live in a really expensive place, so I have to grind it out. And you know, like I don't think we can overthrow the government. It's silly. You know, we don't have the technology, right? But the spiritual warfare part is, I think I'm really starting to come around to that idea. And people that know me will tell you, I'm not like a woo-woo kind of dude. It's just the way that I'm starting to see that, and that
I'll be right back.
ties into the Matrix. Because think about it. The Matrix, do you want to just keep going along to get along with the blue pill? Or do you really want to see the nature of reality? It doesn't mean your life has to be miserable. You can balance the two things. You can see the truth and not be afraid to accept the reality that we're living in, because we'll never change it unless more people, I should say, take the red pill. It's not a bad thing to take the red pill.
Yeah. Not everybody wants to get deep into the shit. Some people just want to live their life. I have no problem with people just wanting to live their life. It's not for everybody to spend. And in fact, it can make people unhealthy, right? If you spend time dealing with problems you can't fix at a level that you can't fix, it can make people get despair and depression, like the whole fucking world's a shit sandwich and fucking I'm done with it. You know.
Well, you know, I think people feel that way when they are idle about it. Like I know somebody who's a former military guy, and he just goes crazy, like complaining about what's going on. And it's like I said, start a Substack, you know, start an X account, because at least you're putting out your thoughts to the world, and you may find other people who agree with you or resonate, or what you say, somebody else might go, I feel the exact same way. Just sitting and complaining about it is not going to do shit. And that was what made me, because I had originally started a website, State of the Deep, to just post my ideas and a Twitter. It was Twitter at the time, Twitter account, because I was so frustrated.
Yeah.
But I agree. Yeah. You don't want it to consume your life. That's why you have to strike a balance. Like I still take care of myself. I live my life. You know, you want to fuck with these people. You want to give them the middle finger. Don't be divided, because they want you divided. So say fuck you and do the opposite of what they want. If you know something's a psyop, guess how you defeat a psyop? There's only two ways. You either ignore it or you create a counter psyop. And if all of a sudden everybody was talking about how happy they were and how they're going to overcome this bullshit, that energy will spread. And that'll piss those people off more than anything, because they want you miserable. They want you divided. They want you confused.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, look who appeared. We got one that dropped backstage. His camera is off, so I don't know if he needs a minute to get settled in or whether we go ahead and throw him up without camera, but usually he's got his camera on. So I'll give it a second, because he can't even give me a thumbs up without a camera to let me know he's ready to come on. Anyway, so one's backstage. I don't know if Dago's still there. I was going to ask Dago what they talked about in the Guthrie case, because he said they talked a little bit about Guthrie. I want to say there was another update in one of the cases, but I can't remember what it was before the show started, and I should have jotted a note down. So maybe it was just the Letcher County thing I wanted to tell you about, the packet that I got in the mail. Maybe that's what was on my head.
Yeah, you just got to accept it, man. We got a State of the Deep takeover tonight.
I know. Deep state takeover. So, Dingo, did you talk about the Guthrie case? Was there anything to talk about there? You were muted, by the way, so just make sure you unmute.
Not really a whole lot, other than the absolute complete and total fuckery of that case. The back doors being propped open, and that was an entrance, not an exit. They stated again. That's how they're running it. They're putting that out there. I don't know if it's because it's true or if it's because that's what they want us to believe. The fact that they made a statement. This is what bothers me the most about this case. We're almost at 60 days on this. Okay, I think it's 57 or something like that. Okay, 60 days. This is an abduction. This is not a homicide, a quadruple homicide or anything like Lisk or Delphi or anything like that. This is an abduction of an 84-year-old semi-mobile grandmother. That's it. That's all it is. I know it's still, I'm not degrading the case and saying it's nothing.
Yeah.
But that's what it is. Okay. And they're saying after 57 days, we have the FBI, multiple task force, Pima County Sheriff's Department, local police, so on and so forth. Okay. They have not one suspect.
No.
I'm sorry, but that's absolute fucking bullshit. I'm sorry.
Yep. That is unacceptable.
The whole thing makes no sense to me. And Eddie joined me today. We did make some points, I guess. So thank you, Micro. Eddie joined me and we pointed something out. Okay. Eddie, he had me, you guys might not be familiar with him, but he's been with my channel as a subscriber, but he's part of the channel. He's a very big part of it. He's very intelligent. We always break things down together. So he pointed out an interview that was done by Savannah and Hoda a year ago, and it was Karen Laramie in the Idaho 4 case, Maddie's mother, and how she was hitting certain points. How one person asked a question and then Hoda recovered it, so on and so forth, because of the answer that was brought out. It was very shocking. They're professionals. Savannah Guthrie's a professional. Hoda Guthrie is a professional. They know how to do this for a living. This is what they do. This is what their bread and butter is, so on and so forth. Yeah. So, in reference to that, as we watched the interviews with Savannah Guthrie between Hoda and her about Nancy, it brought something to the table that was very interesting to me. The things that she said, Savannah starts the first part of her interview off with going into a complete total crying breakdown, saying that it's her fault. Is it because of me that my mother was abducted? Wow. Very emotional response is going to come to that, okay?
Yeah.
Then down the line, she opens up the back door thing. She talks about a statement that her brother made that still bothers the shit out of me. When she talked to her brother Cameron on the phone, who got there very quickly somehow, okay? And said, Savannah, I think she was abducted, and then paused and said, for ransom.
Odd.
Wait a minute. And nothing was ever talked about. No ransom notes come out, and then now a couple of days later, there they are, the next day, whatever. But still, this is what she said, he said. And I'm not talking down about Savannah Guthrie. Do I think that Savannah did something to her mother? No, absolutely not, you guys. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, the interview she gave was done for a reason. It was done to invoke an emotional response from the world. Okay.
Yeah.
So what does that say to everybody? Just think about it, because this case is not what I think. Okay. I'm my ADHD is in full effect right now, but what I'm trying to say is that this case is not what they presented it to us as. I'll say it that way.
No.
Yeah. And I feel like they certainly know more than they're telling the public, and why everybody in America needs to be kept in the dark when you almost know they know what happened at this point. They know a lot.
And they do.
Yeah.
And I don't think we've had back and forth talks about, was it for money? Was it for this? Was it for that? I agree with Rhonda. I think we're being played fully and totally. We're being played. I absolutely agree with it, and it pisses me off.
Real quick, I want to bring one up. I did confirm with him in private message. In case you were thinking I'm just over here doing crap over here on the side, it was making sure 1-1 wanted to be on camera. He's actually driving, so this is dangerous. But he's not going to be on camera. He's going to be able to join us audio from his car. So 1-1, are you there?
I'm here.
Oh, he does this with me all the time.
Thanks for joining the show.
I'm here. You did a good job, Robin, on the intro.
Oh,
Very
thank
good.
you.
She did you solid tonight.
I tried.
Yeah. Good to have you on the show. Have you been driving for a while? Have you been listening to the whole show, or did you just catch part of it?
I was listening to a bunch of it earlier. I thought, you guys talking about stuff and all that. So
yeah, you may be breaking up a little bit, but hopefully we'll be able to keep you on. So I just wanted to make sure when I realized that you were actually not turning your camera on, I'm like, I know he's there backstage, probably wants to be part of the conversation on the Guthrie thing and whatever at a minimum.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts on the Guthrie thing?
I don't really know much updates on Guthrie other than she's still missing and
yeah, right.
What do you think of that new FBI statement? One that they said that they do not have a suspect. No one.
That's crazy to me.
Do you believe that?
I mean, no. It's just they messed up that sheriff from the beginning. I mean,
oh yeah.
Even if you had, and he's a sheriff, so I don't know how much, I don't know how long. I mean, obviously, to be a sheriff, he has to have some, extensive time in law enforcement. But even like, your first day, 2 days on the job. I mean, you're showing up to a scene with blood or a missing person. So like we've said many times, especially with like what I deal with here in New York City, we have missing people all the time. Either elderly people with Alzheimer's, children, runaways, all kinds of stuff. You don't.
Right.
You don't make everything. Not everything is a crime scene immediately, but when you show up to a scene and there's blood, a light bulbs should be going off. Something is not right here.
Right, and that's the other thing too. Like, so Sheriff sends off this DNA that they found to Florida to a lab, undisclosed lab at that point for no reason whatsoever, and then they do what they do, and it gets sent back and says that it has to go through the state labs first, which is not a law anywhere. We went through it like crazy, Kim and I both. There's nothing exists that says that has to happen, but whatever. So there's that, okay? And then he brought in some high-level task force that's built out of multiple police, like local police agencies, and they're working on this. The FBI's on this. Pima County's on this. All of these agencies are working on this, and you don't have a suspect.
Yeah.
Hey, I have an idea for another poll.
What do you got for your poll?
Would they know who did it or have suspects and not release it to the public so they could keep milking it in the media?
Sure. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Who is they? Who are we going to say?
Law enforcement.
Okay.
Well, the powers that be, whichever level you want to look at, like she's part of her, Savannah's part of the media. So,
right.
Whatever.
Authorities.
I'm sure she's connected to some high level stuff.
Well, interestingly enough, don't forget that one of the first people Savannah called when this happened was Senator Mark Kelly.
So I'm trying to work on the wording. I've got. Do you feel law enforcement would lie about not having a suspect to keep the story going? That's what I've got.
I'm just putting, would authorities know who was involved and keep it quiet to keep it moving?
Okay. I mean, I think they're similar enough that that's probably going to get to the same kind of response. I'm going to give them yes, no, or no opinion on that.
I still believe it's a psyop, but I'm just trying to think about, in more
But why,
general,
though?
more general stuff.
A psyop and what about something
Right.
with like something to do with immigration or something? You think, or
Well,
I
that
don't
was
know.
brought up today.
I
One.
predicted a while ago that they would keep dragging it on. I said this many times, that this would keep going, and they would keep milking it in the media.
I just can't believe. I just can't believe, especially where that area where she lives is like, like a ritzy area, right? So I can't believe that they can't track video of. Obviously, if she's taken, at some point she has to be put in some kind of vehicle.
I'm going to tell you right now that, in my opinion, when they have video of her being taken out of the house, put into a vehicle, and the vehicle driving off. I absolutely believe that.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Hold on. But while we talk about this, let's compare our polls. Let's fire off the polls.
Here we go again.
Yeah, I'll show you my poll if you show me yours. Let's put the poll out there.
Did you let it go yet?
Yes, I just did. I was thinking this is why we're having this banter. We should be having this poll running. So
it's running. So yeah, I believe in my soul that they have video of Nancy being taken out of the house, put into a vehicle. They have the vehicle, obviously, and driven off, even in the direction that the vehicle went. I absolutely believe that in my heart.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think they've had that probably almost from the beginning. This is my opinion, of course. And you guys are not going to hurt my feelings if you say, Dago, you're fucking insane. It's okay.
Well,
I feel strongly about that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't put anything past. I mean, what are psyops usually for? They're for distraction is one of the reasons, or they're to manipulate the public. And I think that the predictive policing and the domestic surveillance is going to play a role at some point. I think they're going to drag this on. I wouldn't be surprised if they find her and she's okay. And that this was all. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised.
Somebody in my chat today said that I can't remember who it was, so I'm sorry about forgetting your name, but they made a very interesting point. I think it was Meanie that brought up immigration and what if somebody worked for Nancy, that was an immigrant per se, and that they're looking at trying to blame it on her to run the immigration thing. You know what I'm saying? Or blame it on that person.
Right.
Yeah.
Keep it rolling because of the immigration thing. Yes. Because this is a celebrity's family member. That makes it a big deal. You know what I mean?
Well, we always say that on this show. Operations are never done for just one reason.
Right.
They don't utilize resources for just one reason. So it could be the immigration thing, could have been a distraction from the Epstein files, could have been a distraction from any number of things they wanted to distract the public from.
Wow.
And also will use this at some point.
It goes.
These
I know
agendas.
Dago's got something too, but it goes along with that idea of like never let a good tragedy go to waste. Like if you can use this to somehow further a political agenda of yours, then you use it.
Yeah, or they could be covering it up because it's an immigrant, and it would cause all sorts of shit to go the other direction with that. That's a good point, Chihuahuas.
Right.
Are you ready to end this?
Yeah, let's end it.
I'm not shocked at what I got over here.
What do you got?
I got 82% said 82 would authorities know who was involved and keep it quiet to keep it rolling in the media. And 82% of the people said yes, 18% said no idea, and 0% said no.
Yeah, that's funny. Over here, my wording was, do you feel law enforcement would lie about having a suspect to keep the story going? 82% exactly like you said yes. 14% said no, and 4% no opinion.
Yeah, I even threw something out there today because this case has driven me so far insane with trying to understand why that with the back doors being propped open, so on and so forth, and the way they're trying to direct us away from it being an exit, so on and all that. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe they took something inside that house, a gurney, a wheelchair. Maybe that's why the doors were propped open. And then it took me into another mode where what if Nancy died naturally or unnaturally in her house? And this is for some reason, which I agreed with the people, what's the reason to cover up then? But if she died naturally and the gurney was taken in to wheel her out, so on and so forth, blah, blah, blah. It just makes me wonder because I can't find a realistic answer to why this could have happened. So I'm kind of reaching now, and I just wonder.
Well, look, the media is a big money thing, right? That's connected to the like BlackRock and Vanguard and State Street, right? So to me, that's a great concept, I think. One that I've thought about too. What if she died of natural causes?
That's it.
And they were like, can we spin this? Can we use it as
using it for that?
As a tool. I mean, nothing would surprise me. The only thing is, I think that, as I always say, and I'll continue to say, look at what happens as a result of these high profile events, because what do they accomplish? Is it distraction? Is it to forward legislation? Is it to forward a narrative? It's usually one of those things and others too.
Yeah.
Right. And earlier when I was doing my show, Tomboy had sent me Lana's, because Lana did cover this too. And one of the statements Lana made on this was, how about Savannah's latest interview? Back door propped open. How about that front door Nest camera making more sense day by day? And this was Lana's theory on how Lana, and I remember when she said this, that she believed that more sense day by day. My theory on the ransom video being recorded on the Nest Ring door cam.
I muted
you
one.
Need to jump in. You need to jump in.
He's getting pulled over. He's getting pulled over right now.
No, you need to follow them one.
I muted him because it was so loud, so he can't even talk right now.
Yeah.
I'm back.
Okay.
So, and Lana's theory on this is that they filmed the ransom note on the Ring camera, and then pistol whipped her, leaving the blood at the front door, and then took her back inside and out the back door. And it's an interesting theory, yes, but it's very interesting. So I'm just saying it. Nothing else. I'm just so tired of this shit not making any sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I think
struggling to come up with something of relevance.
Some people in the chat, commented about the surveillance thing. I guarantee you this, and I predicted this already. They are going to start talking about that area needs more surveillance cameras,
yes,
and more technology, so this kind of thing doesn't happen anymore. And so, I can almost guarantee that is going to come up. It's happening all over. I mean, it's already happening. They've already talked about it in this.
Well, they're already using it now to talk about the lighting, because this area is a light pollution area where they've taken. I've seen interviews with people that live in this area that they've complained now about, like, the bus stops not being lit up and people being mugged and blah 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 blah. And this is another thing about the lighting. Okay, I think because if you look at Nancy's house, around it, so on and so forth, there's no lighting. There's no lights. It's darker than shit out there. So is it something that they're I know this sounds dumb, but is it something they're milking to push the area to give them more lighting for safety or something? I mean, I know that sounds pretty weak, folks, but again, I don't put anything past anything.
Nah, it could be anything. Someone trying to push some kind of contract for something. When you're talking about something that involves a massive amount of money or contracts, some of these people they'll do anything.
Absolutely. I mean, there's multiple things that it could be related to, in my opinion, and at this point, it's just not my biggest issue. And the message that I'm getting across is it's not what they've told us. It's not what they're showing us. It has nothing to do with what they've told us, in my opinion. It is not
I
the
agree.
case that it's been presented as. So,
all right. Well, I want to kind of wrap up a little bit of Idaho 4 talk real quick. I've been contacted by somebody recently that seems to have some receipts to provide me. So I'm working with them to get the receipts that may prove and disprove some things that I've been saying for a while. And so I'm totally willing to tell you if this person disproves me. What I told them was, as I would tell anybody, if I had $1 for every single time someone told me, I've told you the truth, and now that you're not saying it, that means you're a liar that just wants to tell people a lie. Like, no, like you didn't convince me. I have to be convinced. So if you convince me I'm wrong about something, by all means, I will share where I was wrong. So I'm kind of hopeful. I'm actually kind of hopeful that this person will provide me. They're saying, look, you're wrong about something. I can prove it to you. And I'm like, great, prove it to me. Prove it to me. And I'll go public with it, and I'll tell everybody where I was wrong. I have no problem.
What is it in regards to?
I'm afraid to say because I don't want to weaken my own argument before I know that it's true. But it's in regards to Kopaka. It's in regards to Kopaka. So after my Kopaka video, somebody reached out with 3 major pieces of information about Kopaka. And look, the way they presented it, it made it sound like they're an insider. They actually sound like somebody that actually, to be fair, it sounded like somebody in law enforcement or whatever that was saying you're missing some major thing. So we'll see if it pans out. I'm curious to see what it is. Again, I'm not going to be duped either to just tell somebody's story because they told me something. And again, I'm not going to go with the I told you, now you have to say it or you're a liar kind of thing. But we'll see. I am honestly intrigued to see the receipts on it. I'm kind of, and in fact, I'm more intrigued thinking that an insider has actually reached out and said, look, I know the facts. I've got, and I won't go into anything further than that, but we'll see if it pans out. But I just want you to know, like, as far as I'm concerned, like if you see what looks like a flip-flop on an area, it's not because somebody got to me, it's because logic got to me. I will share with you if logic changes my opinion. So anyways.
Yeah. The best way to be.
What else? Do you guys have any other thoughts before we start doing around the horn cleanup and closing? I think we talked about a lot tonight. I think it was a good show.
Yeah.
It's funny. We haven't talked Charlie Kirk for over an hour. Like we did an hour of talking Charlie Kirk, and it's something I haven't even talked about on my show probably for 4 months. So it was kind of nice to get into that a little bit again.
Well, Candace has dropped a couple of major bombshells in the last week about that.
Yeah. Is it mostly on Erica or is it on the shooting itself?
The last one yesterday, which I sent it to 1-1 on Discord, was about that people going on trial in France for a Freemason group carrying out assassinations, like a hit squad. And they were, and Candace was making connections to that and the stuff with Charlie Kirk about the French Foreign Legion and Israel. So she dropped some major bombs yesterday.
Yeah, she's been hitting it pretty hard.
Yeah, she's hitting it real hard, man. I mean, she's been lately, really dropping bombs on everybody.
I'm really curious to see what her thoughts are about this new thing with the bullet and stuff. I'm sure she's probably going to go off about this.
Yeah, I didn't watch her show today. I didn't
either.
I'll probably watch it tonight. But anyway. She's been, for people I want to follow. She's been going hard lately, man.
And I'm going to try to get a hold of the actual legal document that because apparently several mainstream media sources saw the legal document, and that's what they based their news articles from. Because they'll say based on a document that we've seen. Like, well, if you've seen it, how come I can't see it? All because they got pre-releases and early releases and all that shit, and pisses me off.
That's it right there. I've been asking for that all day. I want to see documentation. I want to know what testing was done. I want to know who did it. When,
it almost feels like they want to spin it first before we get a hold of it.
Of course.
Let us get out there ahead of this. And so mainstream media will get the article first, and they will spin America to tell you how to feel about it. And then maybe we'll get it, and they'll be like, no. America's already concluded this is it because we spun it for you.
First impression, sir. You know what I mean?
Yep. Right. And it's true. It's true. People have a hard time. Once you've kind of made your mind up about things, confirmation bias gets in, and you tend to reject things that reject what you already tend to believe. So once you believe that this is how it happened, you tend to reject the counter position. That's just human
that's
nature.
why I want to see like proof, like visual proof, because if you do, because of that statement right there, if they do what they're doing, they already did it. It's done. So if we bring forth some kind of a document and say, look at that, then it kind of rewrites it in some sense. You know what I mean?
And not to spin us into a whole other discussion about Tyler Robinson and Charlie Kirk, but they did. The defense specifically said the ATF agent or the ATF worker who came to the conclusion that the bullet cannot conclusively be. I'm going to mute one. That's super loud. The whoever concluded they may subpoena that person as exculpatory evidence. They basically bringing them forward to trial to say, look, this evidence suggests that Tyler Robinson didn't do it. So they'll be bringing that ATF agent in as exculpatory evidence. So it's pretty interesting.
Oh yeah, Candace's show today. Prove me wrong. Tyler Robinson's a patsy. There you go.
A patsy. Look at that. We just talked about the patsy episode that
that's their newest show, I think. Interesting.
Right. Let's go around the horn, and I'm going to do it with one last, just because he's driving, and I don't know if he's going to be in a better place in 10 minutes or whatever as we closing out, or however long it takes. But it was super kind of like loud there for a minute. So I'll go to Robin, Dago, JJ, 1 if he's capable, and then myself will close out for the evening. Robin, what do you have for closing today?
Well, once again, another fascinating conversation. I always enjoy whatever we get into. The different thoughts and opinions are, they really make everything very, very interesting and thought-provoking. So thank my, Lee and the rest of the panelists for that. Also thank everyone for coming out to, our shows every night. It's great seeing, so many of you almost every night. So thank you for your support there. And also on the replay crew, we see your comments, after the fact, and you're just as important to us. So please don't think you're not. And I saw someone earlier asking about when we were going to be doing JonBenet Ramsey. Again, that'll be on Sunday. We do that case every Sunday right now. This will be week 3. So if you haven't seen that yet, there are 2 episodes to get into. But I hope everyone has a wonderful evening. And thank you again for coming out.
And I really like what you guys have done with that Crimes After Dark Sunday show, where you would take a month and do like 4 weeks of a case, of an old case. I really like that style. So you're midway through, the JonBenet Ramsey thing. It was cool. You did the Princess Diana thing. That was cool. You did the Kurt Cobain thing. That was cool.
Cobain.
So, love what you guys are doing with that show. It's a cool little addition, and maybe we'll do a cool little edition somehow of some of us talking about the Philadelphia project coming up sometime too as well. So, but Dago, what do you got for closing?
Well, thank you.
First off, I'd be all over that. And second off, as always, awesome conversation. Thank you all so much for being here and invoking that conversation. You guys are always very interactive and very conversative. Bad word there. And I appreciate that so very much. Also, the intelligence levels are amazing with you guys, and the questions and the points that you make, always appreciated. And of course, thank you to the moderators whom none of us would exist with. I appreciate each and every one of you all the way around. Absolute guys. You guys are amazing as always, and nothing but love for you all. That goes for everybody. Amanda, Essie, every one of you guys over there, as well as all of the amazing moderators on this side of things. So thank you to all of you. Thank you to everybody that's here tonight for taking time out of your day to spend the rest of your night at the end of your night with us. I appreciate that. And thank you again to Robin, Lee, JJ, and 1 for being here and having me to be here with you to have these conversations. It's absolutely amazing. I appreciate that. And thank you for the kind words for those of you about the song that they put out there. I appreciate that very much as well. Don't forget to love yourselves, love each other, and don't change nothing, because as I always say, and of course, you guys truly, truly are the beautiful people. Nothing but love, folks. Have a great night. God bless.
Thank you so much. Appreciate the dedication to the show and all that stuff with that. JJ, thank you for coming. What do you got for closing?
All right. Thank you, advocates, as always. And thank you to the denizens, the meatballs, and the awesome mods. And if we have any believers in the chat tonight, thank you to all of you for participating. Fun discussion tonight. You guys think that we've got a chat that restores my faith in humanity.
Nice.
And my public service announcement, as always.
Here we go again.
Be good citizens and volunteer your DNA to Othram Labs.
Get him out of here, guys.
Get your digital
Security.
IDs and your central bank digital currency, because you guys want to be good citizens to make the world a safer place for all of us.
Goddamn CIA. Look.
Get your chip implanted in your forehead and in your hand.
Yeah, get your Neuralink as soon as you can.
Yeah.
Get your little tracking chip in your hand.
Yep.
Don't worry, folks. We're taking Joe back to the home after the show.
Yep.
The Alzheimer's kicking in a little bit.
Yes.
It's all good. Yeah.
He's having flashbacks.
Thank you very much for that. And I'm gonna put one up. It looks like he's unmuted already. How you doing? You got close tonight? Oh, well said. Well said.
Great stuff, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys,
eloquently put.
it was a great. Can you hear me? What?
Yeah.
Don't hurt yourself.
Can you hear me?
We're on delay.
Huh?
Yes.
You're on delay. Can't hear me?
You're on delay.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can hear me, or no, you can't hear me.
Yes,
we can hear
you, but there's a delay.
There's a big delay, so I'm going to shut up, and you're going to have a delay, and then you're going to talk.
Okay. I feel like this is Spaceballs. Like now is then. When is when is now? When is then now? All right. Well, I joined in late, but I did hear most of the show. It's good stuff. Thanks to everyone for joining. Love all of you guys as always. See, we are dedicated here. I'll read you movie quotes since before I lose service or drive off a mountain or something. So here we go. Put your toes on the edge of that chalk line. I said, put your toes on the edge of that chalk line, you slimy worms. And I don't believe what I'm seeing. Where have you been all your lives?
What?
No idea.
At an orgy, listening to Mick Jagger music and band mouthing your country. I'll bet. You better
An
stop
officer and a
eyeballing.
gentleman.
Yep, you got it.
God.
Officer and a gentleman or Full Metal Jacket?
Yeah, no, officer and a gentleman.
That was great.
Nice.
Good.
I'm gonna have to watch that now. I forgot about that movie. Shit.
Perfect. Thank you very much for the trivia. I'm going to go ahead and mute you. We're a little bit on delay on that for that. So, and then I'm going to try to put myself back on fucking page. All right. So there was a request. Rhonda, the She-Devil, has asked if we can play that cool song that Dago made. We don't have it set to an image. We like to put images to it together, but I was so jazzed up about the song preload that I wanted to put it to just a countdown timer. So what I'll do is I'll throw up our logo, I think, on the screen and play us out with the song for the close. Yeah, go ahead.
Are you gonna put us on the side of the screen again?
Oh, yeah, let's do that. We can put us on the side of the screen and we can even talk during that thing. That's a badass idea, sir. I like how
have
you
a
think.
badass sometimes.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to remove this. In fact, we'll just do it live. We'll fucking do it live.
Do it live.
I think at this point, thank you all for coming to Crimes After Dark again. Tune again tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for another Crimes After Dark. Always pay attention to potential drops in the morning. I won't be dropping something every morning, but a lot of times when we drop something in the morning or the afternoon, actually it's going to be probably, well, it depends on your time frame. I don't know when it is for you. This is an international audience. It may be morning, it may be night. Anyways, pay attention to a drop because we may be talking about the drop on the next show. All right, this is a song. Again, I think the riff was done by Dago and his son. The actual guitar riff's done by him and then inspired also by AI. The lyrics are his. So all of this is mostly like his with some AI assistance. So with any luck, in just a moment, I'm going to play the song and then we'll just kind of like hang out. We'll probably be able to talk over the music if I have done it right. And I hope you enjoy the music if you didn't catch it earlier. And here it comes.
Last show of the night, breaking it down, explaining it right. Robin's on the pad, yeah, he's riding the blueprint. 1-1, where's the bag steel stare, eyes grinning intent. NYPD shadows, deep state of mind. JJ at the table letting gears grind. Crimes after dark. This town don't sleep. Every saint, every shark got a secret to keep. Crimes after dark, where the tough hearts bleed. We don't run from the mark, we just do what we need. Logan's BRONX tales, she's spinning them raw. For me and you, kid, every scar, every flaw. Dago's in the cafe, serving justice up clean. Black coffee, cold eyes, coming strong and mean. Lee at the head, like a storm rolling in. Says you stand or you fall, but you don't have a bend. Crimes after dark, this town don't sleep. Every saint, every shark got a secret to keep. Crimes after dark, where the tough hearts bleed. We don't run from
Get it, Dago.
the mark, we just do what we need. Low and close, last show of the night. Curtains closing slow. You ride with the crew, or you stand with the foe. Crimes after dark, this town don't sleep.